Hey guys, welcome back. Another stolen card. Oh baby. This time it is the anniversary Mew, or the Celebrations Mew, 25 out of 25. This seems to be the first image that was posted. Apparently there are 3 of these out in the wild at this point. And so I'm going to go over all the information that I've gathered. If anyone knows anything else, please leave a comment below. And maybe we can follow up and figure out what's going on, exactly where they came from, and who has them, and where they end up. This is absolutely nuts. I can't believe anyone would touch anything of the sort, but they keep doing it. Someone keeps taking these from places where they're not supposed to take them. No matter what story you hear otherwise, definitely stolen. Whether they were gifted or not, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo and anyone else in that chain of companies would never allow anything of the sort. So they are stolen goods, whether you want to believe that or not, and can certainly land you in a lot of legal trouble. So stay away from these. Just wait for them to come out. The card is going to be worth a fraction of what it would sell for now. So here's the first image, kind of blurry, so people were a little bit skeptical that this was a real card. Just by looking at it, even in this picture, you can tell that it's real. It's be incredibly difficult to fake something to this extent. But then we got a clearer picture later on. I don't know if who this belongs to. I'm assuming that these first 2 pictures are from the original seller. Female. I don't know the details other than that. Then we saw this listing where it sold for $2,000, and I did contact the seller here, who confirmed that it did sell for that $2,000. I'll go through some of the details that he was able to share with me. Maybe we'll just go through. We'll give a look at everything here, because this sort of stuff seems to disappear. Which is why it's good to document everything. Here's the listings and the sales of the one of the 3 people that purchased the Muse initially. We'll find out later that he actually resold it. Oh, I guess it's obvious that he resold it, where it's his $2,000 listing, but that was not the original sale of this item. Here's some reviews. Doesn't really, at least in my opinion, doesn't provide anything of value there, but good to have it nonetheless in case we need to refer back to it. Here's confirmation that it was indeed him. This is just proof that he sent on Facebook. There was a Facebook listing there where he was showing off the card, but I can't find that at this time, so I'm assuming that it got deleted, but essentially just showing that he had one of those 3 copies. So maybe now we'll go through the details in terms of what they were able to tell me. So they promised the female seller, quoting, "I promised her I wouldn't disclose too much, but she was gifted them after her husband passed." This is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard. The Pokemon Company isn't just like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your significant other passing. Here's some cards that you can sell on the secondary market." That's just not going to happen. And kind of insane to even to go with that story. I don't know why they would. It's important to note that the original seller, the listing for the 3 copies, is no longer in existence. So I remember seeing some where it might have shown like the image of the card. And with like the for sale or whatever on the top and the bottom of it, but I haven't seen the actual listing itself. Apparently, Brandon has images of that original listing, but was unable to sell them because of promises he made to the seller. So he also told me that she sold out. There were only 3, so there were 3 copies initially, and he bought the last of those 3. Also, this same seller, she had a couple staff cards as well. So apparently these were like staff stamped cards. So I don't know in terms of where they get stamped, maybe these all went off to get stamped, but it doesn't make sense because the Mew wouldn't get a staff stamp on it. So I would think if it was just staff stamp cards, you would think maybe they get sent somewhere else to get stamped, and that's where the theft happened. But probably not the case. So apparently he did not get to see pictures of those because they were sold before he arrived. It's weird that the person bought the staff cards and not all 3 copies of Mew, but I guess that's how it went down. Maybe they didn't have enough money. And I was just asking him basically if he had any intention of grading or what he was doing with the card, but he had sold it already. So let's see here. So the first buyer of a Mew actually let's see here. The first buyer of a Mew actually reached out to Brandon here under the name Himra. So we can't really see that great there. Hold on. Let's get that in. Himra contacted Brandon here, who was selling for $2,000 and successfully did, apparently. So saying like, oh, you're the first buyer. Talking about how they met with the woman to purchase these. So there's 3 individuals apparently. I don't know who the third one is. There's Brandon, there's Himra, and mystery number 3. Himra, if you're watching this and would like to reach out for some information, I'd gladly hear it. Or the mysterious second buyer. So here saying, nice card, I got the first one from her. Did you grab both or just the one? Hope yours sells quick. So apparently they're both flipping these, which is understandable. There's no reason to hold on to this. It's basically a game of hot potato before it gets released. People can argue that the inadvertent CGC graded card is going to be worth more money. Maybe it is, but to think that it's going to be worth the 800 or $2,000 or even more is I don't know what you're thinking. I can't imagine that'll ever happen. I mean, maybe someday. So here they're just discussing how they thought it was fake. Saw some Reddit posts. Should have grabbed all 3, but didn't. Now, it really seems like the purchase was made in South Dakota. So here they're talking about how they went to actually see the card. So unless they were out of state, there's no way that they could have. I mean, I guess they could have flown in somewhere, but at that point, you're not grabbing all 3. Although we don't know where Himra is from. It seems like all the listings and dealings have been in South Dakota. Didn't get any confirmation on that, but so additional info here from Brandon. He sold his copy for $2,000 and paid $800, and he believes that Himra sold his copy for $3,500. I never saw the listing from Himra, so it's possible that it went up, it sold, or it was a private deal that wasn't listed anywhere. Hard to say. Everyone involved is kind of covering the tracks, which they should. The original person that had them was probably the one that sold them or stole them from the print facility, or someone stole them and sent them to them to sell elsewhere. It's hard to say. I was thinking originally Millennium Print Group, but that's nowhere near. We got North Carolina here and Cardamundi, which is in Texas. So unless there's another print facility, if anyone's aware of maybe another print facility that's closer to this location, maybe that. Or it could be just someone stole them and sent them off to a family member to sell, to this woman that was selling the 3 copies of Mew. Hard to say. There might be a little bit of an extra step in there to avoid getting caught, because you certainly don't want to. And as mentioned in my last video, The Pokemon Company is not just going to let you leak cards and sell cards on the secondary market that aren't released yet. They're not going to give them out as prizes, as compensation for your spouse passing away. Here's a great example where some people took photos of a guidebook from Sword and Shield and leaked things. They didn't even physically steal the guidebook. They just took pictures. And guess what? They're paying $150,000 each in damages and attorney fees to the Pokemon Company. So if you can't take pictures of a guidebook, you certainly can't take the cards home and sell them on Mercari. I don't know how I can explain it any better to the people that are going to be like, oh no, it was definitely a gift. How do you know it wasn't a gift or accidentally given out? That's how I know it wasn't accidentally given out. They don't accidentally give them out, and they don't give them out as a prize by any means. If they were given out by some manager or whatever they gave permission, then it's still stolen goods. It doesn't matter who at the print facility decided to give it out or take it home or whatever. That happened. Also, don't tell me, oh, at WotC they had the scrap table and Shell was filling his pockets before he went home. I get that. It's not WotC. It hasn't been WotC for over 20 years. Don't don't think that it's anything the same at this point in time, because it's not. You can't bring anything home. And then I guess we're gonna have to stay tuned to see if these get graded and end up with this CGC inadvertent early release, which is, I think, just as sketchy as the entire beforehand process. As we saw, CGC knew that the Charizard VMAX, Shiny VMAX, was stolen, and I guess they're just gonna wipe their hands of it because they're only grading the card. It's like washing a stolen car, and every step along the way, like, it should be very obvious. You can plead ignorance to think like, oh no, there's no way it's stolen. It just accidentally got out. No, it was stolen. This one was very, very well proven stolen with all the information that we had, and all the rest of them, the Mew, the special delivery Charizard, it's all stolen. Prove otherwise. I dare you. There's a reason why the original seller of the Mews and the staff cards deleted the listing. It's because they're trying to cover their tracks and not get traced back to them. Have a good day.